Welcome to Death and Aliens, an in-depth look at horror and sci-fi TV from two friends who vaguely know what they're doing. I'm Courtney.
And I'm MK.
And how are you?
Shit. No, I literally was like, I had one thing saved to tell you
Mhm.
about my life.
Do you
No
want to do a
idea.
little switcheroo and I'll tell you about my life first?
I mean, honestly, the problem is that I don't think there's anything left in my life to tell you.
Mm.
Um, I did go to a concert yesterday.
Okay. You sure didn't tell
Um,
me that.
I didn't. It was the Buffalo Philharmonic Chorus's presentation of Handel's Messiah.
Oh, I
Um,
thought it was
and
beautiful.
it was beautiful. Like I mean, sometimes I just like think about the fact that my boyfriend is a professional singer and it makes me really happy.
So nice. So
Which
nice.
reminds me of the time that my sister Brianna texted me to tell me that she's gonna help me write a spoken word album so that I can get a Grammy so that we don't have a one Grammy household. Because Dan does have a Grammy.
Oh, you're saying so you and Dan. I was like, who in your family has a Grammy?
No, Dan has a Grammy, so
Right.
Dan and I can't be a one Grammy
She
household.
meant
And I
she meant
was,
yours and Dan's household, not your and her household.
oh, correct, yes, no.
Yes, that's where I had mixed up households. Yes.
And then we went to that, and then Dan and my parents and I went out to dinner, and we just happened to be like kind of around the corner from a restaurant that I hadn't been to in like 15 years that is owned by um the family of one of my friends from high school, and we went, and her mom happened to be like the waitress, like, or not waitress, but like running the restaurant that night, and I was like, this is Alana, I haven't seen you in 15 years. She was like, oh my God. I was like, you're making me feel so old right now. That was really cute. And they had delicious raspberry sorbet.
Ugh, love a good raspberry.
Hmm.
Love.
So yeah, I mean, that's really the only thing left in my life.
Feel that. Nothing left in life. Well, if you're watching this, you've seen my hair slowly decline throughout the recording, so that's how we're doing. It is after 11. We're recording our last episode of the night. We're fine.
Oh,
But
great.
I did go see another show yesterday on my Broadway week that I'm having. I went and saw the Ohio State Murders of something, I don't know the year, but and it is performed kind of as like a one-woman monologue of Audra McDonald. Incredible. It was front
Oh,
row in
stop.
center, solid center, like 107 center. I was, incredible.
Oh,
Like $47. So nice. So that
that's
was beautiful.
amazing.
It was so intense. Like it was so sad. But
I believe it.
she did an incredible job. Inc- She literally was on the stage the entire time. And it was like every now and then someone else was on the stage for like a minute and a half. Otherwise, it was just her. So good. And it
That's
was like such a
amazing.
minimalistic set, which I love minimalistic sets. Not that I love a big display, don't get me wrong, but there's
Right.
something like intimate about like a minimalistic set.
Yeah.
And so absolutely adored it.
And sometimes sometimes that matters. Like, I mean, there's a thing, like there's things like it's really hard to do some of the like fairy tale-esque shows, like your Shreks and your Disney shows, like
Right.
those spectacle is so much a part of the storytelling for those shows.
Moulin Rouge would be
But
nothing without the set.
right. But then you think about like how powerful like some a straight plays a lot of times don't need a big set, but even musicals, like sometimes you've got things like the last 5 years you could literally just do with two chairs.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Ugh, ugh. It's my favorite musical. But like it would literally it would be fine. Like you wouldn't even need chairs. You could literally just have people sitting on the fucking floor and tell that story, and it wouldn't matter if you did it right.
I mean, they did a pretty good job with it with like Come From Away. It was mostly like people movement and not so much set.
Yeah, I haven't seen it on stage yet. I've seen it on YouTube, but not on stage.
Oh, but I cried. I cried for 30 minutes during the show.
Oh, I'm
So,
sure.
so good
I'm
though.
sure I will cry. I'm sure I will
Um,
cry.
yes. I mean, it's not on stage right now, but
It's yes, it is. It's
is
on
it touring?
tour. It's
Oh, I didn't know
touring.
it was
Yeah,
touring.
it's touring. I'm literally seeing it in 2 weeks.
Oh, good. Excellent. You're gonna stop.
Yeah.
I had no idea it was touring.
Actually, this episode that we're recording right now premieres on December 11th.
No idea.
Yes, nope, it's on a Thursday, so not the 11th, it's the 9th. So just kidding. I haven't seen it yet because I see it on the 14th, so next week.
Mhm.
I don't
Um,
remember.
Speaking of other things I've seen that I hope everyone else is watching, this will be old news by the time this show comes out. I don't care. Wednesday on
I
Netflix.
literally, my dad asked me last night, he was like, "Is Wednesday good?" I go, "I don't know, I haven't talked to Courtney yet."
Absolutely. I binged it this weekend.
Did you?
I really liked it. Um,
Good.
my friend Kat didn't care for it, but I think she likes
Mm.
things with a little more intensity.
Okay. One of my seventh graders today asked me if I'd seen it because he knows I love Wednesday Addams and he really, really liked it.
Yeah, it's definitely like appropriate for all ages, which is
Okay.
nice. So I think that's what like some people shied away from. But I mean, Adam's Family's always been for all ages, even like
Right.
from the
But I mean,
beginning.
Tim Burton directed 2 episodes.
Yeah.
So it's not like I mean, I'm sure it's cheesy, but not like
But it's more in the sense that like it felt like it could have been made in the same vein of like for the same age group as like Riverdale and Sabrina and all those. I
hmm.
liked it better.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, but I loved it. I thought it was really good and really cute. I think everyone should
Fantastic.
watch it. It's for all ages and
Yeah.
it's not scary. So all ages.
I'm actually at a weird TV lull right now, because I finished the season finale of Dancing with the Stars happened, the season finale of Bachelor happened, the season finale of Ink Master happened. The season finale of Masked Singer is this weekend, and Grey's is on winter hiatus. So literally, and I think The Amazing Race only has like 2 more episodes in the season.
Well,
So
if you
I'm
need a
like,
show to binge, it's only 8 episodes.
well, I'm down to 16,000 videos on my YouTube channel that I need to catch
Oh
up
well,
on.
I'm making a dent in them.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
It's fine. It's fine.
I'm I'm starting to make quite a dent in my podcast, so I'm about to start looking for new ones to
Nice.
through. But I am also making a dent in X Files. Oh, I'm so sorry. I know this is not our Sci-Fi Sunday, but I am halfway through season 2, I think, of X Files now.
Very
It's just so
nice.
good. It's just such a good show.
Good.
If you haven't seen it and you like things like that, if you like TV, you should watch it. It's great.
Sure.
You know what else is great?
What is that?
Our spirituality. Do you like my pose for the week for
I
spirituality?
do. I love your spirituality pose, and I love this affirmation.
Excellent.
I am my own best friend because other people are total dicks.
Facts. Facts.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Other people are total dicks.
They are, my God. It's a mess out there. It's a mess.
I just think of Sebastian being like, telling Ariel, don't go out there. The world, the people.
There's a guy named Sebastian who comes to the bar, and I thought you were talking about him for a second. And I was like, you don't know him.
No, I do not.
You wouldn't know that.
If not.
He's great though. He works another bar down the way. Um,
The human world is a total mess. That's what I was thinking of.
you know what else is a mess?
Understatement of the century.
What I'm here for. And this episode might be weird because I am tired and it's late.
Yes.
But it's fine. We're going to power through and we're going to make this the greatest episode we've ever done.
Hopefully a short one too. No offense to you guys.
We're going to we got to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have two 16-hour days the next 2 days. So that doesn't leave a lot of hours for sleeping in between.
No, I have multiple shifts and a funeral in the next few days. So like
Friday is my next time to figure out a break time.
oh, and I also had a funeral today too. So like
Yeah.
two funerals in a week. It's not a week. It's not
It's like 4 weddings and a funeral. But
only 4 funerals and no weddings.
right. Yeah, that's a bummer.
That is a bummer.
It's fine. Not a bummer, mostly, is Bates Motel,
Sure, yeah.
episode 6. My transitions are stellar today. It is called The Vault for a reason that I don't remember, but it'll probably come to me. It may not.
Vault?
The Vault. Yeah, we'll see. We'll get there. I'm sure there's a reason. It aired April 18th of 2016.
That is my mom's birthday.
I thought you were about to say it's my birthday. I was like, it's not your birthday.
It's not my birthday. It's my mama's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday 6 years ago.
Yeah.
It was rated 8.5 out of 10. The number one song is, shockingly, Still Work by Rihanna.
How?
I
How are
don't
we
know.
still on work?
There's no words in that song except work. I'm sure there.
Well, okay, there are words, they're just not in English, but like the song's not that good.
It's not that good. The number one movie is still The Jungle Book.
Unfortunately.
Surely it's the end of that run. The number one book is As Time Goes By Mary Higgins Clark. I have not read it. I have obviously heard of Mary Higgins Clark, even though I've never read her stuff, but I hear she's great.
Right.
I think I bought one of her. Is she the one who wrote a thriller series in under a pseudonym?
Maybe. No. No, wait, are you talking about like the J.D. Robb books? Because that's
Yes.
that's Nora Roberts.
Nora Roberts. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
No, Mary Higgins Clark, her thriller books are just under her own name.
Got it.
She writes mostly suspense novels.
Yes. Yes, correct.
I don't know if I've ever read any of her stuff, actually.
I haven't. I probably should. I'd probably like it. On this day, things happened. Some very random things happened. It was the 120th Boston Marathon.
Fantastic.
It is Zimbabwe Independence Day. And it was the day Lin-Manuel Miranda won the Pulitzer Prize for Hamilton.
Great.
Fun facts abounding. Her director is Olatunde Osunsanmi. That is almost perfect, I'm sure. He's known for a lot of sci-fi stuff. So he's known for The Cavern, which I've never heard of.
Nope.
Sunken Aces, I've never heard of. But he's also known for Star Trek Short Treks and Star Trek Discovery.
Okay.
And The Fourth Kind. Have you seen that movie?
No.
That might be a good movie to do on the podcast. It's wild. It's about aliens.
Yes, but we don't have a budget for sci-fi at the moment.
Well, it's kind of scary too. Maybe I'll do it as a horror / sci-fi.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
But it's about aliens, but it's kind of scary. And also he directed Timeless, which I don't know if anyone else on the planet watched that show, but I loved it. She went back in time and made sure that that things didn't change, so the world didn't go off balance. I loved it. There was like one season, maybe two.
Does not ring any bells.
So big fan of this guy. Very different. These are all very different things he's like worked on, which is fun.
This,
They're all kind of
this,
dark and they're
Discover. I was gonna say Discovery is the only one I've seen.
yeah, I have not seen that one, but The Fourth Kind, Timeless are both like dark enough. They're not like
Okay.
horror, but they're dark.
Okay.
Um, our only guest star that we haven't spoken about is Luke Grossler, who plays young Norman. And surprisingly, he's apparently very well known, not by our age group, but he
Okay.
is known for It Chapter 2, Dead to Me, Deadpool 2, and Riverdale. So all things I've seen, not my focus of any of those shows. Well, I haven't seen
Who
It Chapter.
who was he in It Chapter 2?
I have no idea. I haven't seen that.
Oh, I have.
How? Was it not terrifying?
Oh, it was awful. It was terrifying. I watched it in the middle of the night with my cousin in Florida because he was watching it and he was like, "You're a bitch." He didn't actually say that because he was like 12. But he made me watch it and I literally was like, "Well, now I'm gonna pee with the door open for the entire rest of the time I'm in your house." And he was like, "Ew, don't do that." And I was like, "Don't make me watch scary movies in the middle of the night."
Yeah. Ugh. No.
But also like it was post starting the podcast. So Bill Skarsgård, like
Right, right.
I was like, I'll just pretend you're Roman Godfrey in weird makeup. And that's how I'll function watching this movie.
Excellent. I'm gonna watch it one day, but I'm not brave enough yet. I haven't watched it either,
I
though.
haven't, I didn't watch the first one.
Yeah.
So like
Mhm.
that's helpful, right? To like watch the second one and not the first one.
Right, right. That's what I hear. That's how I hear
Yeah.
it's supposed to go in life. Start at the
Yeah, for
end.
sure, for sure.
Um, Speaking of, we do start at the end of the last episode. And for a quick recap, we left off with Chick's threat to Norma to tell Alex about Caleb.
Oh,
Did you?
I think you said this kid was Jack Dylan Grazer. Is that his name? No. Who is the child that you just said?
Luke Rossler?
Okay, that's not even remotely the same name.
That's not even close to what was said. That's okay though.
It's okay, I found him.
Okay, excellent, excellent. I've seen him on Dead to Me, but which is not the same as Dead Like Me.
It is not, no.
Very
But
different.
whenever people talk about Dead to Me, I'm like, oh, just kidding.
Yep, yep. Me too. Me too. And I saw Dead to Me first, and I still do that.
Oh, you know what I've seen him in before? That
What?
was in none of these things that you said.
Hmm.
Um, he played Prince Charming as a little baby boy in Once Upon a Time too.
Like the show Once Upon a Time?
Yeah, the show Once Upon a Time, he was Baby David and Baby James.
Oh, I heard you, and when you said Once Upon a Time 2, as in also, I was thinking like the number 2, and I was like, that's not a thing.
Oh, yeah,
And
no.
I was like, oh wait, you mean also?
And also, just to tie things back up in a big fancy bow, he was in an episode of Man on the High Castle, which of course,
Joel,
yeah,
of course, yeah.
yeah.
Why not? Why not?
Why not?
So we start with Bill Skarsgård and with Joel Delafonte.
Perfect.
Did it.
Always,
We can
always
connect
very,
anything if you give us
it's
enough
true.
time.
It's very true. You give us enough time and enough websites, and we will figure out how everything just comes back to us.
For 5 seconds in, and you're frozen. It's okay.
It's okay. It's great.
You'll come back to me.
I'm back. I'm back.
Okay, you're back. So, hello, my friend.
Hi.
How are you?
Pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we're on the last episode.
Yeah. Right.
I'm gonna start over.
Yeah.
So we start with Norma calling a phone that has now been disconnected. My guess
I
is meant to be Caleb.
Yes, it was Caleb. It said something on her screen. It like showed the screen of her phone, and I didn't like I
Oh,
and it so it was Caleb that she was calling, but I literally was like the one time you don't immediately call Dylan is the time you should have immediately called Dylan.
absolutely. Absolutely. The one time.
Right.
Ugh, Norma. And then we flash over to Alex, who's checking his key because he still has the key from when he killed Bob Paris.
Hmm.
And I'm just like, hasn't she learned by now that she should tell Alex things?
Right. But here's the thing. So they have a scene. Alex is looking at her key. She's calling Caleb. Then they both come in and they like kiss each other good morning and like they talk about how they're both just having a weird day and like I go, this whole house is built on lies. A whole ass house with a foundation of lies. You're both lying to each other's faces right now.
And I thought we were getting so much better. I was like, we're married. We've admitted we love each other to like, we like each other. Like,
They have, yeah, they definitely have not said love yet.
okay, well, they like each other at this point. They're
Yeah,
happy to be together. So
yeah.
they kind of accepted their fate, essentially.
Hmm.
And so I was like, we're moving in the right direction. And then this episode is just like, nope, opposite ends again.
Just, but, then she immediately won me back over again because he starts to leave. And this is because I'm the sappiest fuck in the whole wide world. But she starts to leave. Norma says, she's like, I'm here we are, and I'm kissing you goodbye, and you're going to work, and it's just like in the movies, but it's not a movie. And literally, I have goosebumps all over my body just repeating it because my note, I just said, why is that exactly the way I feel about Dan? Like, literally, I was like crying because I was like, that's how much I love this man.
She says, after
Plus,
everything we've made it.
yeah, plus, she was saying it about Alex, who I also feel that way about.
I know. And I was like, and now she's ruined everything. You know, as soon as she gets really into something, she thinks everything's fine. It's all going to be terrible. So,
But
just
yeah, in case anyone wants to know how I feel about my boyfriend, it's that.
in case you were not aware, that's precious, though. That's precious. Um, and we have the credits, and we have this ominous of everyone's lying to everyone, but the happiness of everyone's happy together. And here we go. That's that's our intro, which is kind of a good. I love the contrast
Yeah.
forward. And then to just keep us on the edge of our seats, we go to Norman having a panic attack, essentially. He is asleep, I think.
He, no, he's under hypnosis.
Oh,
Yeah, he was under hypnosis, and Dr. Edwards was like walking him through a childhood memory, and he's like, "You're looking at this, like you can walk out of it at any time." And he's like trying to get him to think about his father.
I thought that was later, but I guess not.
There's two different flashbacks.
Oh, this is the first one, and I think I must have been taking notes when it came on, and so
Yeah,
I'm at the very beginning of this scene.
so he's like laying on the couch in Dr. Edwards' office, and Dr. Edwards is talking him through it. So we see him like in bed, and then he goes to get water, and his dad is drunk in the kitchen, and then he like thinks that his dad's gonna wake up and hit him, but he doesn't. He wakes up and
Hmm.
hugs him.
This
No,
is before that.
that's not how that happened.
We have a short scene with Norman before that happens.
Oh,
Um, we we go in and he's like underneath the bed as like an adult person having a panic attack, and that's how we
oh,
first see Norman this episode. And
oh.
and then he like wakes up, and I was like, "Were you dreaming or did you have a panic attack last night?" Like I couldn't figure out what happened there, but I think he was dreaming now that we've seen the end of the episode. Um, and he's talking to Dr. Edwards, who's finally diagnosed him with DID. He's like explaining to him how the two personalities work. And he's like, sometimes you're you, and then sometimes you're Norma. And so this is how he learned that he becomes his mom when he dissociates.
Okay, no, you're absolutely correct. Sorry, because my notes were just about how I felt about Dr. Edwards in the scene. So that is why I didn't remember which scene it was.
Fair.
Oh yeah, no, but because he explains that when somebody has DID, what you're doing is you're like protecting yourself from something. And Norman is like, why would I want my mom want to protect me from you? And he's like, well, that's what we're trying to figure out. Like that's
Yes.
why you're in therapy. Yes.
And he's like, and then of course Norman being inquisitive, he's like, so what is she like then? And he's like, she's charming, which is accurate.
Yeah, sounds
She's
pretty
killed
spot
everyone
on.
else.
Yeah.
Norman was by charming them, other than, Bradley, who she just flat out cold blood murdered. Um, and
Yeah.
then that's all with Norman for a minute. We get a quick break from his disorder and we go to Norma and Chick. And he's telling her they're at the diner and he's telling her about his cane that he's worked on.
Mm-hmm.
And it is the creepiest cane I've ever seen in my life. It has like a baby head on the top,
It's
like a
fantastic.
blindfolded kid. It is wild.
I'm obsessed with it.
I hate it so much, so much. I think Norma also does. But then he starts just attacking her. Like
Yes.
he
This is what I was confusing last week for this conversation.
no, it started last week. It got way intense this week.
Yeah.
He like is telling her like your brother raped you. Your brother is terrible. Like he took advantage of you. And he's like just going after her. And I'm like, first of
Yeah.
all, you're in a public place. Calm down. Second
Yeah.
of all, it's none of your business what has happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like she needs to deal with this in therapy, not with someone who's blackmailing her essentially. Kill her
Mm-hmm.
brother. Like,
And
Jesus
and then he just
Christ.
keeps saying that she needs to tell him where Caleb is, and she's like, I don't know where he is, and he's like, really? And he's like asking like she's lying, and I go, actually, like, but for real, she doesn't. I don't think she
Right.
knows where
No.
he is at all.
No, she has no idea. And like he's telling, but then he starts telling her, he's like, you have to deal with this. You need to talk it through. And I'm like, you're not wrong, but not with you. And I hate you. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and this is my weird thing with Chick is like, he says bad things, but then he also says everything that's like right, but it shouldn't come from him.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's very conflicting because I'm like, you know what the right thing is to do. And you go
I
out of your way not to do it.
I think he's very absolutely like the pure definition of like chaotic neutral. Like he isn't a bad person. But
Right.
he isn't a good person either. He's absolutely a neutral, but he doesn't do it in a way of like judgment or like he is 100% chaotic neutral.
Yeah, because like he doesn't fall on one side or the other, but he also does really bad things sometimes, but also does really good things sometimes. It's like
Yeah.
you never know what's going to happen with him. And he just, oh, I can't with him. I can't with him.
Yeah.
And ugh, I hate him right now. So we go back to Norman, thankfully, because I can't deal with Chick anymore. And
You thankfully went back to Norman.
look, that's where I'm at today.
But to be fair, it's because in the scene he's with Dylan.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. So it's very sweet. Dylan came to visit him and they're playing cricket or croquet or whatever.
They're playing croquet, and I was like, Dylan playing croquet is something I never knew I needed, but I needed it.
Hmm. It was very sweet. And,
Hmm.
they're just chit chatting. He's like, I'm glad you're doing so well. And then of course Norman asks about Emma. Dylan like stumbles over his words. He's like, the two of you are together.
And he's like, no, I get it. I like it. And I was like, I get it too.
Right. And he's just like so chill about it.
They're both so good with each other, and I was like, this is so wholesome, like that I wish there was a possibility of a happy ending.
Right. Like I wish that this was real life for them.
Yeah.
And then he asks him about Sam. And Norman is just too chill about everything. Dylan's like, he wasn't a great guy. He was abusive. He was mean. Like, but like whatever. And Norman's just like, okay. I was like,
Well, and then Norman is like, I don't think it would be good for mother. Or no, was it, no. I lied. I'm thinking of what Dylan says to Norma about Norman, not the other way
yes,
around.
which is where we go next. And
Yes.
Dylan and Norma are kind of having a check-in with each other, which is becoming a new thing for them, it seems. Um, and we are reminded that Norman still doesn't know about Alex. And
When when Dylan no, Dylan asks her why she doesn't want him to know about Alex, and he says that she says that right now he's just too fragile. And then Dylan says something that I just got so excited about 'cause it's so true, so true. He says, "Don't treat people like they're fragile, or they'll stay fragile."
I loved that quote. I was like, that is so, like Dylan is the only smart person on the
And
series.
that's
Like
and that's why Dylan was the best thing for Emma, because Dylan was the only person, like, he took care of her.
he didn't patronize her.
He didn't overwork her. He let her body do what it needed to do. He was careful with her, but he didn't ever like patronize or demean or overprotect her. He was like, I know that you know what you're capable of. I will do what I can do to help you. When you need to take a break, you take a break, but I'm not going to talk down to you because you need help. Like, he was like, I'm not going to treat you like you'll break.
Right.
And
I mean,
that's
to ask
why.
him to punch her in the chest because she couldn't breathe. He did.
I
Like,
mean, he was weird about it, but also
of
like
course,
that's who wouldn't be weird about punching someone in the chest when they
no
didn't know what
matter
they were
how
doing.
like helpful
Right.
or not. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's always listened to what she needs and like,
Yeah.
oh, bless him. So they're talking. He says Norman's doing much better and it's a good place for him to be in. And then he tells her that he's moving to Seattle with Emma and Will. And Norma starts acting out. And I was like, Norma, you left your child for like 18 years. Maybe not quite 18, but for a lot of years. You didn't even
Hmm.
take care of him. You never
Yeah.
cared about him until like a year ago. And now he's going
Right.
to better himself and go off with people that he cares about. Like, what? Why? Why are you acting out now?
But
Because he's
okay.
a help to you now? Because you need him now?
Yes, which is
Anyways,
fair.
so I was
But
very
also,
fussy at her.
I get being
And
fussy at her, but I get being fussy at her. I do.
you what?
Mhm. I said I get being fussy at her, like I do, but also she asks when he's moving, and she's like in a month, and he's like, oh, in a few days. No. That's a lot. That is a lot to process. She's
It
finally
is.
like built a relationship where she's comfortable having him around and like trusts him and like wants to have a bond with him. And he's like, by the way, I'm giving you 3 days warning that I'm piecing the fuck out. I would act out a little bit
Also,
too.
also, he's moving like 2 hours away. Like, he's not moving across the world. Like, they've been driving back and forth to Seattle a lot with him.
No, they've not. They've been driving to Portland.
Oh, Seattle's a little farther than Portland.
Yeah.
I forgot. I was thinking that they were driving to Seattle. Never mind.
No, when I said like the other week when I got mad that Seattle wasn't that far away, I meant it was like a 6 or 8 hour drive, not like a 6 or 8 day drive. Like,
Right, right, right.
it's not around the corner. It is kind of a big deal.
It is a little bit of a hike, yeah. Now that I
Yeah.
remember what city's what now. That helps. Um, yeah, and so then she starts sneakily trying to ask him about Caleb. And Dylan, the smartest human on the planet, is just like, let it go, Norma. He's gone. He's left. It was his choice. We need to just let him go and go on about our lives. And in all caps, I just put, take Dylan's advice, Norma.
I literally wrote Dylan is not entirely wrong, man. Like, you
No,
can care and still not put yourself in that position.
absolutely. So she immediately calls Caleb when he leaves, naturally, because
Of
you don't even
course.
have a brief moment to believe she's going to listen to him.
But
And
then also, I literally was like, damn it, Norma, you can't tell Chick where Caleb is. Like, I know that Caleb's, like, I know that we're not Team Caleb 100%, and that I've always been
no,
more Team
absolutely.
Caleb, but like, I was like, don't, don't.
As someone who's like anti-Caleb 99.5% of the time, I also don't think she should tell Chick where Caleb is.
Okay.
So across the board, agreed. But she calls Caleb and he's asking all the right questions that you would expect a caring father to.
Yeah.
But it's like if you do this once a year, it doesn't count. Like,
No, I know, but also, like, he says, like, I left because I was afraid that the backlash would fall on you guys, which it did. So, like,
right. But also like who was it? Was it Chick that said it like, how did he know I wasn't gonna go after Dylan because he left? Like, fair question. Because
but
he
it
already said
wasn't,
we'll both be killed.
but I think that Caleb did what he thought was best. And in a way, because he left, like if he had been there and stayed there, Chick might have gone after Dylan to hurt him. But because he left, Chick just wants to know where he is.
Yeah. I
Like,
mean,
because if he left, so what would be the point of hurting Dylan? It wouldn't hurt Caleb because Caleb wouldn't know. So like, as stupid as it was, and as much as it's sad as it was absolutely the correct decision
I mean,
because
it's the only
it
correct
it
thing.
did it did it did exactly what Caleb knew it would do was make the fallback really on Caleb and not on anyone else.
Yeah, and it was good for him to get away from Norma. It was good for him to get away from Dylan, as much as maybe they both don't agree with that. But he was putting Dylan in some very sketchy situations.
Correct.
Um, so she's chatting with him and she's like asking, she knows where he's at now. She tells him to call Dylan, and then he tells her he loves her. And she like has a panic attack almost. She just like, which like
Hmm.
totally fair. But she also shouldn't have called him.
Yeah. And also, like, I think the problem is that she does love him in a way, but that line has gotten so blurred for so long that she doesn't even know how to tell him she loves him in like a
Regular way.
fraternal way
Right.
because she doesn't know what that means anymore.
Yeah, I agree. And so then we go back to Norman. This is where he has his first childhood flashback.
Hmm.
And like you were explaining, he gets up in the middle of the night to get some water. And he's saying he knew his dad would be awake, but his dad was passed out on the kitchen table in a plate of food, surrounded by beer cans. And he wakes up to Norman looking at him, and he just hugs him and says he's sorry.
He says, "I'm sorry, and I know you know I love you." And he was like, "Yeah, I do, Daddy." Um, but like, so it's really upsetting for everyone involved. And when
Mhm.
Norman like comes out of hypnosis, he's crying.
Yep. And this is where Dr. Edwards is like, you can come out at any time. Like it's your memory. You can leave it.
You're just watching, yeah.
Yeah. Um, and then we have a couple of brief scenes. Alex gives the key to Rebecca,
And I said, Alex, you're a fucking idiot.
and he tells her he doesn't want any money, which honestly was probably the smarter way to
Oh
handle it.
yeah, no. He was like, take the key, get yourself safe. I don't want anything to happen to you, but I don't want to be a fucking part of this anymore.
Like I also don't want to be a part of it, right? And
Yeah.
that seems like it might be the end of Rebecca for now. She's been sent away, and we go to Dylan.
Okay. Fingers crossed on that one, my
I
dude.
know. We go back to Dylan, who is in his natural state driving again. Do you remember in
Yeah.
the beginning when he was driving in every episode we saw
Oh,
him?
absolutely. Like Dylan lived in his car, in his truck.
That's
Like
all I
that.
thought of. And Caleb calls him, like Norma told him to, and Dylan just like doesn't know what to do. Like he doesn't know how to handle it because it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. And
And
Caleb's telling him he wants to move back. And I'm like,
but he was like, I'll move back when it's safe. And I was like, you don't understand how much it'll never be safe for you
no,
there.
absolutely
There will always
never
be
be safe.
something.
And you can't hold Dylan back from going with him. Like,
Yeah.
because you know if Caleb comes back, Dylan's gonna end up staying because
Or
all
at
he
least,
wants is to have a family. That's
yeah.
all he wants. Ugh.
Yeah, it's so upsetting.
And then we get what's probably the most intense. Nope, not the most intense, but one of the more intense episodes. I mean, scenes in this episode. Norma meets Chick in the middle of the road. And my first thought was she's going to shoot him. And then she steps out of the car with a gun. I was like,
Well,
all
I
right.
watched, my note says, please don't kill Chick. And the worst part is that when you were like, not the most intense, I was like, I definitely think it's the most intense. And then I remembered what is the most intense. And I was like, oh, just kidding. Ignore
Just kidding.
me.
JK, JK.
JK. Oh,
Um, so I said, come on, Norma, don't do it. But also, like, if she did just kill Chick, it'd be like convenient for going forward. But
I'm bringing myself closer to the microphone for this one just because I wrote please don't kill Chick, but then I also wrote how are they not getting wet?
they never do.
I know,
Never.
but I know, but this one was so much worse. They're in on a fucking bridge in the middle of the night in the pouring rain, windshield wipers going on their cars, and they're both standing there perfectly dry. And usually I can forgive the lack of wet, but in this moment where the rain dripping on your face would have made the scene better and you're still
Right.
not wet, I was pissed.
Absolutely. It would have been the way to do it.
Yeah.
Um,
Visually should have been actually in the rain.
right. But instead, Norma has set herself up for failure. She's now proven that she can't kill Chick because she can't handle it. And she also has proven that she's not going to give him Caleb's address.
See, but I don't think that was setting herself up for failure. Like in a way, I it was, but I was like, I was so proud of her at the same time because for once in Norma Louise's life, she didn't pick the selfish way out. She
That's true.
didn't she didn't just shoot Chick because no one wouldn't have known the difference. She didn't just sell Caleb out to save herself and Dylan. She just was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Fine, you win. And she's never given up before. She's never done that before.
And I absolutely do not blame her. But
I mean, and actually we learned that that's not true. She has given up and like let other people win for a long time, which
yeah,
it like adds to things. But like she it was more selfless than we've seen her be in a long time.
yes. And like,
And it was about someone other than Norman.
yes. And I wish that she had kept like some cards to herself. Maybe like tell him you don't know where Caleb is still. I don't know, but like
I thought that's what she was gonna do. I thought she was just gonna be like, I don't know where he is, and then just use the gun just in case Chick like was like, okay, well then I'm killing you instead.
that's what I
But
thought.
but then I kind of liked that she was like, no, no.
I mean, it's good for her, but like just gonna make things harder now. It's fine. Um, but at least we go back to Dylan and Norma. And she's like being so salty about him leaving still. And she just says, have fun leaving me. I was like, Norma.
I was like, Norma Louise, that is straight up gaslighting.
I was like, you're back to your crazy ways. Like, that's what she's been doing her whole life with these people, with Norma. And
I was like, that was the worst lie you've told in forever. And you were straight up gaslighting him.
mhm, mhm. But then Dylan's packing his stuff and he finds the bunny that was meant for Emma. And it has a note attached from her mother. And he knows something bad has happened.
And the worst part is that the music was playing. He found a picture of him and Norman, and the music was playing in a way that I thought he was going to find the teddy bear that like Norman talked about in his childhood flashback that he like
Mhm.
held when he was safe in bed.
Me too.
And I was like, what if he found the teddy bear and he was like thinking about when Norman was a kid and like because this episode's so fucking happy ending-ish. And then it was the bunny, and I was like, oh, because Norman didn't have time to get rid of that because he went to a fucking crazy nut job house.
And so Dylan, being the only smart one, goes to look at the check-ins for the hotel and finds Audrey's check-in. And in the words of the Eagles, you can check in anytime, but you can't check out. That's not exact words, but
Yeah, and also they did check her out, so because
she didn't have a checkout date.
oh, she didn't have a checkout date
That's what it
because
was. She had the check-in date, and then when he opened it further, he found her address and her contact information, but it
I
the checkout date.
it didn't have a checkout date. Okay, because remember, Norma like was like, well, I have to go check her out because she's not there. I thought Norma just put the date in.
Mm-mm. She cleaned the room out.
Mm,
Hmm.
okay.
Um, and then because we don't need anything to be tied up today, we just jump back to Norman. We leave that scene. We leave Dylan with finding out the truth.
Yeah, of
And
course.
so the so Dr. Edwards starts asking about the alcoholism in Norman's life, and Norma shows up again. And that was a really nice transition again, of course, as it
It
always is.
was.
And you can see that like his DID is such a clear coping mechanism, like
Hmm.
because of especially when he switches over in therapy. Like it's so clear cut. And
Yeah.
it seems like so she starts telling him the story about how Dylan ran off one night and they were going to leave, but she couldn't find him, and Sam found her first. And it made me wonder if that's what Norman's deal with Dylan was too, is if Norman blames Dylan for them never being able to get away.
Maybe.
This is Norman's subconscious.
Right.
And
But
so,
I also think that it probably is true that she didn't leave because she wasn't going to leave without Dylan. And then once Dylan like left for good, she didn't have an excuse to stay anymore.
mhm.
And she still didn't get it. Like, I don't know, like, when did Dylan leave versus when did they leave?
I have no idea. I don't think they ever said it. They
I
may
don't
have said
think
when he
they,
first came in, but it was like so off the cuff.
yeah,
It wasn't like
yeah,
anything to pick up on.
right.
Um, and then we go into the flashback, which is the most upsetting thing I think we've seen.
I would say it is, I think it's tied with the scene from the first episode with Keith Summers for because it's because with Keith Summers I think it was more visual the actual like rape, but this one was almost more upsetting because of the fact that Norman was under the bed.
Which is why I think that was a memory from the very first scene we see him and he's screaming under the
Which
bed.
I totally missed him being under the bed in the first place. So like that makes perfect sense. When you described that, I was like, oh, that checks out because of this.
Yeah.
But also I missed it in the first place.
And
So
I didn't put that together until I went back and I was telling you my notes. And I was like, oh, oh,
oh
back to the beginning now. See.
right, get it. I got it.
Yeah. And this whole thing is so traumatizing, not only for Norman, but also for Norma. And it's just, it's so sad. And it's like, of course, Norman has DID. I've read about cases and I've like heard about people like dissociating for much less. And like trauma is trauma,
Yeah.
but you know, it's
Mm-hmm.
a different thing. And yeah, I would be concerned if he turned out normal based on everything he's been through.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
which is fun. So now we go back to Alex and Norma, real Norma, and Chick's outside with the window. And this is when she tells Alex she loves him. And Alex is like, I love you too. And I was like, yeah, everyone knows you love her, Alex. It's no surprise to anyone that you love her,
Correct.
but it's
Correct.
also very sweet. And so Chick brings the window in, and Norma is acting like a lunatic, rightfully so. I mean, he's blackmailing her. Like, I would also be acting like a lunatic. But
Oh, but when Alex says that, when Alex first says that Chick is there, first of all, perfect Chick impression. And he was like, Chick is here at the window, and he's like, what did he say? And he's like, oh, I need help unloading this window. But he said it like in the
yeah,
perfect Chick impression.
he did.
I was like, and then also Alex's reaction to her telling him he loved her got me.
It was so sweet.
Yeah.
Ugh, that's all he's wanted. And in the middle of this chaos, he unveils the window, which is just stunning. Like,
So stunning.
beautiful. Like, for the issues I'm having with him, great glasswork.
Fantastic.
A plus. Um, so then she goes off on Chick and she's like, just tell him everything. She's like, goes to say something. She goes, no, don't worry. You're about to pack your bags anyway. So I was
Yeah,
like,
she like started
maybe
screaming
don't
at
start
him too.
there.
She's like, "You're packing your bags in a few minutes anyway." And I was like, "What the fuck, ma'am?"
I was like, maybe give him a second to calm down.
Right?
Uh, Chick knows he's got her all riled up. And so he very clearly doesn't say anything. And he just leaves. Yeah, he tells Alex just mail him a check. And I was like, Norma, you have to tell him now. Like, you have reached the ultimate level of crazy right now.
Well, and I think that that was the point because I think Chick basically was like, "I've already gotten you so like upset that you have to say something."
Yeah.
So like I still win.
And she tells him everything, like super
Everything.
honest.
Yeah.
And he's like, the guy I had dinner with, I was like, yeah, Alex, that's why that dinner was so weird for everyone, except you guys for some reason. I don't know why you all felt normal about it.
I
But
liked it. I liked it. I thought it was great dinner.
ugh, no, it was icky. Um, but yeah, so she tells him everything and he just kind of like lets it be. And she's like, okay, go pack your bags. And he looks at her and he goes, okay, sure. Where are we going? And I was like,
I
Alex.
literally was like, my note says Alexander Romero, you charming fuck. But then like I paused it because it was over and I looked at my parents and I was like, I love him. And they were like, the cop? I was like, yeah. They're like, why? I was like, you just watched that with me, right? My mom was like, is it because he's wearing so much eyeliner? I go, actually, ma'am, those are his natural eyelashes. And I told her the whole thing about them CGIing his eyelashes down because they're so dark. And she was like, what? I go, he was born in New York, but one of his parents is Cuban and the other one is Spanish. So he just has naturally beautiful eyelashes. And she goes, oh, okay. And I was like, yes, I do know all these things about him. And then they started talking about other people that he played in different shows. And I go, and he played senior, junior in Kim Possible. My dad goes, shut up, that's a voice. I was like, well, you guys are attacking me. Thank you so much.
That is an attack. They can't watch it with you anymore if they're gonna be mean to you. But I panicked.
I'm never telling anyone that I love Alex again if that's how they're going to react.
Yeah, that's 0% true. But okay.
Wow.
You are absolutely gonna repeat that multiple times. But
Every day.
I was so in like infatuated at the end of this episode that it like ended and I like threw my notebook and I was like, oh my gosh, it's over. I have to end for the next
Yeah. Literally, I was just like, where are we going? And then she told him everything. I still love her. Oh.
uh, bless. It was so sweet. And this was episode 6. So we have 4 more episodes left in the season. Um, and it's been too calm. I wonder if that's why some of the like,
So other people didn't like season 4 because it keeps.
which is a flaw we thought would be like we talked about in the beginning, where like it's starting out so intense and so strong that it can't hold this out for 5 seasons. And so
Right,
I
well, we knew something had to give in terms of intensity, but I don't hate that it's doing the whole like ebb and flow where things were really intense and we were starting to get panicky, and now it's going to go so deep into the happy that it's going to yank you back.
No, I absolutely I think the writing is like incredible on this season. I
Mhm.
love like I'm going through such a roller coaster. Like I was on the edge of my seat a lot then, but I have so many more emotions this season than I had the others. Like I'm up and down constantly. And like
Mhm.
so while it's not like while I do miss the intensity, I miss the like shock value of the episodes. I don't dislike these episodes and I
No,
feel like
but
they're
and
a
what
good balance.
and what I will say is because I'm definitely more of a character person. Like I like a good plot, but like I care about what happens to characters. Like I need to be involved in the people. And our sci-fi shows, like I am a Stargate person. Like I love Stargate. And when we first started watching Bates, as much as I was enjoying Bates and I felt like invested in the show, I was still more excited about the Stargate episodes because like that's my jam.
Right.
And like and I still like I'm still obviously having a good time. But right now, where we are and what's going on with these characters and like the emotional intensity, I'm like every week I'm like, I need to watch Bates.
Yeah, which is funny because I started out not knowing anything about Stargate. I've never watched like Star Trek or any of those, so I didn't know like what we were getting to except the next 8 years of my life. And
Mm-hmm.
so I was like, I'll give it a go. In the first like season, I mean, even going through, I was like, I don't know, there's no continuity. The characters are great, but I don't know like what's going on. And like now I'm like, I can't wait to watch Stargate every week too. Like I mean, of course, I also am excited to watch Bates because I need to know what's going to happen. It's definitely more of a
Right, right, right,
like
right.
cliffhanger, but like I'm just as excited to watch Stargate as I am Bates. Like it's like you just get invested in these shows and these characters and these people, and like when I see them in other things, I'm like, oh my God, that's my character. Like, these are my people now, and ah,
Hmm.
it's wonderful. It's wonderful. But yeah, we ended up with two good shows this time around, which is nice. Because we've had some that kind of went up and down a bit,
Yes,
and
that
these have both
is.
stayed strong. I mean, even when we've had an episode that's like, yeah, this is whatever. Like the show itself has stayed strong the whole time, both of
Mhm.
them. So
Absolutely.
yeah, um, yeah. So I don't have any trivia, so I just wanted to talk about those things a bit. Um, I don't know. I was trying to like off the cuff think of a way to end it because you always talk about how we don't end it, but instead I'll ask you, who do you want to punch in the face?
Wow. Punch in the face. Wow. That is a really intense question for this episode. Um, I think probably Sam. Like I know he's like long
Mm.
dead. I know he's like long dead, but
That's a good one though. He needs to be punched.
yeah,
Um, I picked Chick.
that's fair. Chick is
Just
was
like no words. I don't even know.
yeah, he was just so so ambiguous.
Yes. Um, and he just stirring up too much drama right now. I need him to take a step back. Like, there's no need for this. Um, who's your MVP?
Alex. Was that a question? Alex Romero,
Hmm.
forever and always.
Yeah. He would have been my second pick, but my first pick is Norma.
You know, she was kind of a star this episode. Like
She
she
stood
had
up
her
for
shit
herself.
together. Yeah.
And we only see her doing things. Really, this whole episode, she was selfless. She stood up for herself, for Dylan and Caleb.
Yeah.
She gave up all of her like power for to protect Norman. She gave all of her vulnerability to Alex when she told him everything. Like she just kind of let go to the like for the right reasons.
Right.
And I was very proud of her. So she's my MVP. Um, yep, I am thrilled about Bates Motel. I don't know. I'm happy.
You know, it is.
I
It's
don't know anything anymore. All is well. We want to talk to you because we like
yes.
you, probably. We'll never know if you
Yeah,
don't talk to us.
mostly.
Um, we'd love to talk to you, and you can do that by emailing us deathandaliens@gmail.com. Um, brief interlude here. Um, we've quick story time. We
Yeah.
were Sarah's going through some of Shel Silverstein's old stuff at the office for like some of his heirs.
Okay.
And she gets to a letter from someone who like worked at one of the law firms he worked with, like that he had like used or whatever. And at the very bottom of the email, they're like, it was from 2000. They're like, "Are you on the internet yet?" They were like, "This is my email at AOL.com." They're like, "I don't think it's going to be very useful though because you can't send tapes through the internet." They were just like, it was so funny. They were like, if you're not on, it's nice to like search some things and look some things up, but I don't really think this internet thing is going to be a big deal. It was hilarious. So,
Okay. Speaking of things that are were going to be a big deal, this is just a bonus emotional cherry on top of the craziness of this episode for anyone who actually has listened to the whole thing. Last week was mine and Dan's 5 month anniversary,
oh my goodness.
which I know is for the people who actually listen to this podcast and listen to how much I talk about how in love with this man I am. It's ridiculous that we've only been together for 5 months, but it's fine. And so he was like, I know it's not like a big one and it's like only 5 months and like, but I got you something small. And I go, a ring is small. And he goes, I meant small in budget, not in size. I was like, okay, fine. So he pulls out this thing and he gives it to me and he's like, well, this is a gift because it's like something that we've been talking about. And I open it and I go, I don't know which of your girlfriends you were talking about this with. Was not me. Because it was a stapleless stapler.
A staplist?
A stapleless stapler. Like it basically does like this weird hole punch origami nonsense,
Okay.
and you don't need staples, and it actually like holds papers together. It's genuinely like it's inspiring. But the crazy thing is, I went to tell my mom about this story and how ridiculous it was, and she just started crying. And I was like, Mom, why are you crying right now? She goes, I'm so sorry. I don't know what came over me. But your grandfather, like my dad's dad, she was like, before he died, because he died when I was 12, she was like, you were too young, so you don't remember this. But he used to sit in his kitchen and just like wax poetic about these things that were going to make him a millionaire. And one of the things that he talked about all the time about how he was going to invest in this thing and it was going to save all of us and make him a millionaire was a stapleless stapler.
Oh my goodness.
I was like, here we are, 20 years later.
We've made it.
The internet can send audio, and staplers don't need staples. We
Uh,
have made it.
man, we have moved up in the world from 20 years ago. God bless. Which leads us to other things that are uh what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know.
Innovative, amazing,
All of the
poetic.
above.
Yeah.
All of the above. You can follow us on all the social medias where we wax poetic sometimes. Um, Jeff,
Because social media is an invention too.
it is, it is. Who knew it would be so big when MySpace came out? That was before Zynga and
Friendster.
Friendster. God, there's the internet. What an invention. But you can find us at Death and Aliens everywhere. And you can follow me at CECloud13, which is also the very first screen name I ever had for AOL. So I just kept it for the rest of my life.
Perfect.
Can we
Oh,
find
you
you?
can find me at EMKY_superstar.
And we're going to go to bed now because it's midnight and we have a long week. But we love you all and we cannot wait to see you for Sci Fi Sunday.
Bye.